The thing with that whole concept of needing to justify the 3D is you are trying to take the 3D and make it fit into your story, rather than you deciding what that 3D is and not giving any importance to what's happening meanwhile. So him not responding to you fast enough is irrelevant. You shifted into the identity of why, and that's why he responded, because you're giving importance to the time, because you're seeing things in linear time. You're not seeing that, I momentarily, or for a moment there, I chose Y, and then bam, he responded. Irrespective of the week and a half where you were choosing X, you're now going back and seeing that it took him a week and a half to respond and giving it importance. And then bam, you're back in X. You're still taking it as the source rather than the outcome. The source is within you. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Irresistible and I'm a manifestation and soul realignment coach. My channel is geared towards helping you become your highest potential so that you can create and live the extraordinary life that is your birthright. In today's video, I'll be talking about how justifying the 3Ds is you being in the wrong identity. But before we get started, just a quick reminder that I offer both email and video coaching. So if you need help in manifesting any of your desires or in releasing any of your blocks, you definitely want to check out all my coaching options. They are in the description below. And I'd like to invite you to subscribe to my channel and hit the bell icon if you'd like to receive a notification anytime I upload a new video. So today's video is inspired by a video that I posted last week about what assuming really is. And I spoke in that video that assuming is anything you are doing in any given moment with respect to your desire, whether you are doing that before a circumstance is happening or as it is happening or following the circumstance. So it's anything you are choosing to uphold or assume about a certain situation. And I had also spoken about the two identities. Identity X being the one where you do not have your desire, and identity Y being the one where you do have your desire. And when you are choosing the identity of not having your desire, let's say you're choosing the identity of the person who is not loved, chosen, and pursued, you automatically activate the beliefs, thoughts, emotions, and actions of that identity. It's active within you. You're going to feel that. And then when you choose the identity of the person who is loved, chosen, and pursued, identity Y, you are also activating the beliefs, thoughts, emotions, and actions of that identity. So the idea is you must choose that, you must claim that, claim the identity that you desire. And when you claim that, you automatically activate that inner state that goes with it. And you keep reminding yourself that in choosing and claiming that identity, the 3D will eventually show that back to you without giving any importance to the 3D. And then I gave an example of sending an SP a text message and not receiving a response for several hours. When you are in identity Y, which is the identity of the person who's loved, chosen, and pursued, you are much, much less likely to perceive anything in that as rejection. Why is that? Because you have activated the inner state of that person. But if you are perceiving it as rejection, it means you're still choosing identity X. You're still identifying with the person who is not loved, chosen, and pursued. You're choosing it. You're literally claiming that because you would not perceive it as rejection if you were in the identity of the person who is loved, chosen, and pursued. You're just not going to perceive that. It's that simple. You will not perceive it. As a response to that, one of my clients who's doing email coaching with me asked me, okay, well, this is actually what happened with me. And what I tend to do when my SP does not respond, I tend to try to assume, here she's saying, I'm trying to assume that he is busy with work. And she knows that if she does that, she's indirectly also causing him to be so busy at work that he is not giving her time. And so she was asking me, is that a good assumption to make, and will that create another outcome? The thing with that whole concept of needing to justify the 3D is you are trying to take the 3D and make it fit into your story, rather than you deciding what that 3D is and not giving any importance to what's happening meanwhile. So him not responding to you fast enough is irrelevant. Don't even try to justify why he did not respond fast enough. When you're doing that, you're in identity X. The need to justify is you being an identity X. You're not in the right identity. When you are in identity Y, by default, you don't care. You don't care. By you caring, you're still giving importance to the 3D. You're still taking it as the source rather than the outcome. The source is within you. You choose X, you activate the inner state. By default, you're not gonna feel it. You're not gonna care. And then when the 3D unfolds, it's gonna unfold in your favor. It's gonna show you it had nothing to do with you. But when you are trying to justify why the 3D is reflecting something undesired to you, you're in X, if that makes sense. You're not in Y, you're in X. You're still choosing to be the person who's not chosen, loved, and pursued, and you're trying to make it fit into the story of I am chosen, loved, chosen, and pursued. You're trying to make it fit into that. That's not what we're doing here. The 3D is the outcome. Anything meanwhile is irrelevant. You choose and the 3D matches. You don't see what's in 3D and try to make it fit into a story that works for you. That's not what we're doing. That's not the point, because the 3D is the outcome, not the source. The source is within you. So you know what? If you're seeing something undesired in 3D, you're like, I'm not going to pay attention to that. I'm not going to give that focus, because your state of being, your identity reflects two things: the assumptions you're holding and the focus and attention. And we want to step back and reboot. I spoke about how to do that in my video. I will link it above, the Trinity video. You step back, you pause, reboot, then you choose again. You choose the identity that you want, and you will activate the inner state, and you hold that inner state. And I don't want to say hold. I'm very conscious of the words I'm using these days, because it almost feels like it's going to slip away. You're choosing, claiming. Holding feels like it's going to slip away. You always have the power. You claim, you reclaim, you choose, you re-choose, you keep choosing. And you know what? 3D is irrelevant. And them not responding, irrelevant. Don't try to put an assumption or explanation. That's you being in X. You're giving it importance. The mere fact you're giving it importance means you're in X, you're not in Y. You're forgetting that you're the one, the source, not the outcome. This is a very important reminder that the source is within you. If that response is showing up in 3D very delayed, it's from you, because you're choosing the identity of the person who's not loved, chosen, and pursued. And you trying to explain or justify why there's a delay is you still being in X. You're still choosing X. When you're in Y, you don't care. You just don't care. You know you're loved, chosen, and pursued. And then the 3D will show that back to you. It's very interesting how we go back and forget that the 3D is the outcome. It's never the source. Don't look for validation in it. Like, just literally don't give it importance. Don't give it importance. And you know, my client also said that her SP responded to her a week and a half later. She says, I'm naturally someone who responds on the spot, but now I'm feeling like if I respond too fast, I'm looking too eager. You're still in X. You're literally still in X because you're still seeing it as a week and a half has passed since I received that response, not considering that perhaps you shifted to Y, you shifted into the identity of Y, and that's why he responded, even though you see it as happening a week and a half later. It could very well be that you shifted into Y, and then because you're giving importance to the time, because you're seeing things in linear time, you're not seeing that, you know, I momentarily, or for a moment there, I chose Y and then bam, he responded. Irrespective of the week and a half where you were choosing X, you're now going back and seeing that it took him a week and a half to respond and giving it importance. And then bam, you're back in X. You're literally back in X. And so you perceiving that I'm appearing too eager, you're forgetting that the whole reason he actually even messaged you in this moment, everything's moment by moment, forget time, forget linear time. In this moment, he's responding because you happen to be in Y. If you're going to respond to him right away and then go into this whole story of how you're look too eager or too available and waiting for them, then you're going back into X. You're just doing that. That's why I'm saying it's a moment by moment by moment space. You need to remind yourself that the assumptions don't necessarily precede the circumstance. It's a combination of what you're doing moment by moment. And then when you are going back and saying, well, I'm going to look too available, you're back in X. You're back in that identity of the woman or the person who's not loved, chosen, and pursued. Remind yourself, it's not about accepting the bad behavior. That's not what we're saying. We're saying you go back and choose the identity of the person you wish to be, and you claim that again and again and again and again until literally you find that you don't care about the 3D. It makes no difference to you. You claim it again and again, and the only time you give value to the 3D is when you start seeing the shifts happen. You start seeing it mirror back to you 1,000% everything that you are choosing, and it has to. There's no choice. But you keep going back and forth. You keep going between X and Y, back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. You're not claiming and staying there. You're not claiming it, and it's all you choosing because you're choosing to give value to the 3D. You're still choosing that. This is a very important reminder to you. If you're needing to justify, you're an X. If you are giving importance to 3D, you're an X. Actually, justifying is giving importance to 3D. You're an X. You're not in Y. When you're in Y, you're choosing and making anything in 3D irrelevant until you get your full desire. You know what? This is who I am. Anything in 3D is irrelevant. So I hope you liked this video. If you did, then please like, comment, and share. And I look forward to seeing you again in the next video.